Hello, arcade machine. Hello, bed. Hello, game collection. Hello, internet. Now that we've gone through a little crash course on Nintendo history, now would be a better time than ever to talk about something I have a bit of a more personal connection with. This little box over here has quite a bit of history. Despite the great software library and incredible controller, the GameCube didn't sell all too great, while the PS2 and Xbox had clearly cornered the hardcore gaming market. So for the 7th generation of consoles, Nintendo decided to try something else. At E3 2004, they revealed the Nintendo Revolution, a new console that would feature backwards compatibility with Nintendo's entire home console library at the time, as well as innovative motion controls. Eventually, it was fully revealed with the name Wii and released in November 19, 2006, and people definitely took notice. It sold so well it was often difficult to find, and soon it seemed like everybody had one. So let's see. Wait, didn't I already talk about the my head. Where am I?
Hello. My name is Henry. Welcome to the Me channel.
I see. Probably should have mentioned these guys. Turning on the Wii greets you with arguably one of the most iconic menus of all time, with a set of icons known as channels lining the screen. Before you even put a disc into the system, there's already tons of stuff for you to explore. And right next to the disc channel is the Me channel. This channel is home to one of the defining features of the Wii, the Miis. A character creator was something Nintendo had been toying with since the Famicom Disk System, and the Miis were the result of that experimentation.
And don't forget about the innovative Wii Remote. Not only does it feature fluid and responsive motion control, the pointer control allows for easy navigation of the Wii.
How are you even more of a corporate shill than I am? Anyway, there are still a few more things you can mess around with before inserting a disc. For example, the photo channel. Once you've imported some photos from an SD card, you can mess around with filters or even make little puzzles out of them. And we can't forget about the Wii Shop channel. Well, Nintendo did, but man, back in its heyday, this was one of the best digital stores out there. Games from almost all of Nintendo's past consoles, smaller bite-sized indie games under the name WiiWare, and even extra channels for the Wii. Unfortunately, the service was closed in 2019, so you gotta find another way to pick up Solomon's Key. And now we can finally get to the games. You up for some sports?
Absolutely.
In my opinion, no game better exemplifies how great the Wii is than Wii Sports. Almost everyone knows what sports are, so even people who don't play video games can get behind the concept of this one. And thanks to the motion controls, each sport is extremely simple to play since you only need to mimic the motions you would do in real life. Despite this, there's a lot of nuance to the gameplay. It all depends on how you roll the ball, swing the club, beat the heck out of Matt. Yeah, we all know this guy, most powerful character in gaming. Defeating Matt is the ultimate... Oh right, he's not great at tennis. And Wii Sports wasn't the only game that showed off the console during its early days. Wii Play is a bit of a simpler game, making use of the Wii's pointer controls. While it's no Wii Sports, it's still a fun little display of the Wii's capabilities. One of the real heavy hitters was the Wii's 3D Mario game. Super Mario Galaxy, what an incredible game this is. The spectacle has been increased tenfold, with Mario traveling across space in epic fashion. The levels may be more linear than previous 3D Mario games, but they still feel big and exciting. There's thrilling boss fights, a stunning orchestral score, fun power-ups, and a beautiful story. This has to be one of the greatest games Nintendo has ever made. And they just kept going. Wii Fit is another great entry in the Wii series, helping people stay in shape. Super Smash Bros. Brawl was the biggest game in the series at the time, with an incredible single-player mode and characters nobody ever thought would be featured. Mario Kart Wii was another fun entry for the series.
What?
Wii Music. Honestly, I'm not even sure what this is. Technically, it's a game, but there's no real winning or losing condition, you just sort of play music. And even then, you're not really doing that, you just shake the Wii remote and music happens. It just feels very gimmicky. And that wasn't only a problem with Nintendo's own titles. Since the Wii sold so well, tons of developers tried to make as many games as possible for it just to make a cheap buck. And most people didn't buy them, but most people just didn't buy other games for their Wii in general. The majority of the Wii's sales were to casual players who only bought the console for Wii Sports and Wii Fit, and left it at that. Fans of hardcore games would turn to other consoles, and even the casual market eventually lost interest. and games that attempted to merge the two ultimately didn't really need the Wii if they weren't actively hindered by it. One of the most notable examples in the late Wii library being The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword.
What is your problem? Where are we? Why can't I talk about Zelda games in peace? Hey, you don't get to just walk away. Hey, that camera's still rolling. Oh, hello, Internet! While every family had a Wii, everybody had a DS, and several of them. Following the already successful Game Boy line, the DS destroyed sales records, second only to the insanely popular PS2. And there were revisions to help keep those sales consistent, like the DSi that came with downloadable titles known as DSiWare. But a true successor wouldn't arrive until the 2010s with the reveal of the Nintendo 3DS. So let's see what this hot new handheld had to offer. And I'm not letting you out of my sight. Right out of the box, the 3DS already has a few pre-installed games to play. Street Pass Me Plaza would allow 3DS users to connect with each other by meeting in real life with their systems. AR Games uses special cards included with the system to play little mini-games with the 3DS camera. And Face Raiders is absolutely terrifying, but the real substance of any console catalog is the physical releases. And what better way to launch the 3DS library than with a new Mario game? Weird, 3D Land doesn't feel as 3D as it used to. Super Mario 3D Land was an adventure similar to the 2D Mario games, but this time in the third dimension. The levels are linear and Mario shrinks when he takes damage, but there's plenty of secrets hidden throughout the levels, as well as rooms that showcase the glasses-free 3D display of the system, not to mention the returning Tanuki suit from Mario 3. It's fairly short and simple, but that's perfect for a handheld Mario game like this. One of the early hits on the 3DS was Masahiro Sakurai's Kid Icarus Uprising. The first two games were simple 2D platformers, but the third one went in a different direction. Each level starts with an aerial battle where Pit has to fight monsters like an on-rail shooter, and then he lands on the ground where it's a mix between a hack and slash and a third-person shooter. The game looks insane for a handheld title, and there's even online multiplayer. The controls take a little getting used to, but it's still a really exciting experience. And just like Smash Bros., there's a lot of achievements and unlockables that let you really sink your teeth into the game. There were also plenty of casual games on the system, like a new Animal Crossing. New Leaf has you assume the role of the town mayor, introducing a level of control and customization never before seen in the series. There are a bunch of structures you can decorate the town with, as well as some 3DS exclusive features. There were even some updates later down the line. Another fun little 3DS game was Tomodachi Life. You can create a bunch of Miis, then watch them live and interact with each other on your island. It can be really weird at times, but that's really the fun of it, seeing what wacky scenarios the Miis can get into. That's weird, there's nobody here. Hey, where'd that Mii go? Now, Super Smash Bros. 4 was a big heavy hitter. It was the first game in the series to appear on a handheld, and the fact that they made it work is honestly insane. Sure, there's no big story mode like in Brawl, but it's made up for with an impressive lineup of new and returning fighters. You can scan Amiibo to train up in battle, as well as making your own custom Mii fighters. Is this where you got that gear? How long have you been traveling dimensions for? You know, it's not easy living in the Shadow World. Almost all the adults work in the smoke mines day after day, leaving their kids all alone with nothing to do. And one day, curiosity got the better of me. It was unlike anything I had ever seen. A world of near infinite possibilities. And that's when I saw you. Somehow, you had come in contact with a device that could rewrite the fabric of reality itself, even outside of the game world. I wanted desperately just to see what having that kind of power would feel like. And I found a way. So gear from the game world allows shadow folk to come to the light world. It works the other way around as well. You know what happens when light folk try to go to the shadow world without it. All too well. Anyway, we better get a move on. Next up is, you gotta be kidding me, Chibi Robo Ziplash. There were a few other Chibi Robo games on the DS, but most people either know the first game or this one. It's a fairly standard 2D platformer with mechanics from Chibi Robo, with the signature power chord being used as a whip. The game is... it's terrible, and it likely killed the franchise. What was that? And it wasn't the only series to fall victim to this. The remake of Bowser's Inside Story was released far too late in the 3DS's life, and it resulted in its developer Alpha Dream going bankrupt. And it wasn't even compatible with the 3D display. For a system called the 3DS, most of its later games were 2D in both display and gameplay. As a matter of fact, it would have made more sense if it was called the 2DS. Oh yeah. Alright, that's it! What? I have several questions, and they're all what the f-
Is something wrong?
Yeah, you're not usually this paranoid. He... Well, since he's here now, where are we going next?
Oh, I know. On to the next generation. Prepare to enter the new universe.
Wait, what? Whoa! Whoa.
Welcome to the Wera Wera Plaza. This is the place where Wii U owners come together.
Oh, right. Hello, Internet! After the success of the Wii, Nintendo obviously wanted to recapture that. And what better way to do so than a sequel console? Well, that's what you'd think. The Wii U was first unveiled at E3 2011, showing off the new Wii U gamepad as well as updated HD versions of Wii games.
Of course. The presentation let people know about what made the Wii U great, the special new controller and HD visuals.
Well, the thing is, they didn't really show off any new games or even the console itself. Some people weren't even sure of what the Wii U was, thinking it was some sort of add-on for the Wii. So the Wii U's reveal wasn't quite as big as its predecessor. But hey, we haven't even talked about its software library. Why don't we check out a few games? One of the launch titles for the system was a little game called Nintendo Land. It's kinda like the Wii Sports of the Wii U, with attractions based off of classic Nintendo games. There's Mario, Zelda, Metroid, Pikmin, even obscure stuff like the mysterious Murasame Castle. All the minigames are incredibly polished, and they make great use of the Wii U gamepad. Not to mention the setting of the Nintendo theme park is just perfect. The Wii U also launched alongside yet another new Super Mario Bros. Game. There was also one for the Wii, but U launched on the same day as another new Super Mario Bros. Game for the 3DS, and this is when people started to get tired of the series. None of the games are necessarily bad. As a matter of fact, New Super Mario Bros. U had a lot of fun new additions. But when Nintendo released 4 nearly identical Mario games in the span of 6 years, it felt like they weren't using their flagship franchise to its fullest potential. And it didn't help that the Wii U was selling poorly going into 2013, so what did Nintendo do?
The Year of Luigi.
The Year of Luigi, baby! In celebration of 30 years since Luigi's first appearance in Mario Bros., 2013 was dedicated to the guy. New Super Mario Bros. U got some Luigi-themed DLC with harder levels and the new character Nabbit, now playable. A spin-off of Dr. Mario, aptly named Dr. Luigi, was released with special L-shaped pills, and a version of Mario Bros. Named Luigi Bros. Appeared in the Wii U's big 3D Mario title. Super Mario 3D World. It's another 3D platformer in the style of the 2D Mario games like Super Mario 3D Land. People were really hoping for a big 3D Mario adventure to follow up Galaxy 1 and 2, and while this isn't that, it's still a really good game. The game features 4-player multiplayer with 4 characters that each have unique abilities, as well as an unlockable Rosalina with the spin from Mario Galaxy. The soundtrack is great, there's some creative level design, the Captain Toad levels are fun little brain teasers, it's just a really nice little Mario adventure. And the steady high-quality releases continued through 2014. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is an incredible 2D platformer that doesn't get the love it deserves. Mario Kart 8 looks the best out of the whole series. Hyrule Warriors is a great mix of Zelda and Dynasty Warriors with tons of things to unlock and collect. And then we get to Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. Released a month after the 3DS version, this might not be the most memorable Smash Bros. Game, but it's still really fun. There's a good amount of bonus content, a sizable character roster with Mewtwo returning only in this version, and the introduction of amiibo figures, Nintendo's foray into the toys-to-life industry. By scanning a figure onto the Wii U's NFC reader, you can train up an artificial fighter of your very own, teaching it the best strategies, or feeding it stat boosters and changing its special moves. All in all, this game is... Is that guy following us? What? What are you doing here?
You know this, Henry?
Yeah, he's been following me around for a while. And I have a sneaking suspicion that he was responsible for something else.
Well, the more the merrier. Maybe he can join us.
If you say so. Alright, next up is... Oh, come on, not again. So 2015 was a really weird year for the Wii U. I've already talked about how much I enjoy Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, and this year also gave us great games like Splatoon, Yoshi's Woolly World, Xenoblade Chronicles X, and even Super Mario Maker, one of my favorite games of all time. But then there's Mario Party 10, which reused the flawed car system from the last entry, Devil's Third, an unpolished mess of a mature game that was exclusive to the Wii U for some reason, Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival, which had most of its content tied to figures and cards, and Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, a game that had no substance or identity aside from being a tennis game with Mario in it. It felt like Nintendo had given up on the Wii U, and in a way they kinda had. 2015 was the year Nintendo revealed the NX and finally got into developing for mobile platforms, taking a lot of valuable resources away from the Wii U. And going into 2016 with disappointing release after disappointing release, the Wii U eventually faded away in favor of the next console. That's weird, it shouldn't be this empty. Are you doing okay?
Do you remember WeConnect 24? It was an online service that allowed Wii users to send messages to each other's systems. It was a great way for people to connect over their love for the console. Until it was shut down on June 27, 2013. Similarly, a messaging application called SwapNote was released for the 3DS, allowing users to send drawings to each other. But it was used irresponsibly and swiftly discontinued. And Miiverse, despite being a thriving community of Nintendo fans, was eventually abandoned just like the Wii U itself. Combined with the way they take down fan-made content, it feels as though Nintendo doesn't want their customers to form a community, they don't want them to connect. But I can't strike my own connection. One with the guardian of this world. You have 2 minutes to escape this world.
Start running.
What? We need to get out of here. Now!
Hey, wait.
I've talked about a lot of games, but I still have more to say. And I'd like to say thank you for being someone I can talk to.